my Newfoundland is just my other country, you know, very strong in my heart.
His personality is very, well, what would be the right word? Robust. He's got a very strong sense of himself and who he is and what he's interested in, and it carries through in everything.
I can work with anybody if they don't tell me what to do, okay?
Whenever we get together, we go painting. That seems to be the glue that holds us together, you know. That and good wine. And the Newfoundland landscape, yeah, that's true too. I'll come here because since my childhood, you know, my grandfather was going to the market. I love market. The smell, there's a lot of smell, different smell, fish and fish, vegetable mixed to the wine, to the bread. Why I want to paint outdoors all the time. If you're in your studio, nothing interferes on your painting, not even a fly drop in it. And here I can take a piece of poppies and put it on, you know, leave it there, cover it with paint, like that. You know, and it's in the painting, see? I can stay in. And that's happened quite often, that, you know, the twigs go fall in, flies goes in, and this is the fun of it, you know. And it's a challenge to work outdoors, you know.
When I look at it, any of his work, I feel, I guess, his passion for painting. I think his love of it comes through. You know that it's an expression of joy. It's a creative splash, I suppose, on the canvas. And it's his energy that I think attracts you to the painting. Even though in some of his paintings there is a calmness, there is always that element of heightened reality, something that you really can grab hold of, and it's uplifting.
I observed him on the barrens of Newfoundland, out in all kinds of weather, painting this place, and I just had an increasing admiration for what he was doing for Newfoundland. He was obviously capturing the magnificence of the place, the boldness of the place, and the color of the place in a very unique way.
Okay, George, you got 10 minutes to finish your painting.
You got 10 minutes to finish your
You know, he's rugged. He sort of glories in the adversity of getting out here sometimes, marching through the bog for 5 kilometers to set up in some remote spot.
He actually started painting here, although he was always interested in it, of course. But he actually started to paint in Newfoundland. And he was an electrician at the time and worked down on the docks there. And came over on a cable boat, as far as I know.
It is amazing that he is as connected as he is, because he wasn't born here. He spent a lot of time here, but he wasn't born here and didn't grow up in the bogs and marshes. But he's connected to it in some fundamental way that a lot of people who grew up here never do. Maybe it's maybe he just identifies it because it's so like him in a way.
Well, the first time I saw his work, I was adjudicating the Arts and Letters exhibition. And I saw his work there, and I could see that this was back in the 70s, mid-70s, maybe 76 or something like that. And I saw his work there, and I said, there's a man who enjoys painting.
And you know, it's the kind of tour de force of a landscape that I think must appeal to him. It's the kind of thing that appeals to me, and to Jerry, and just about everybody who paints and actually gets out into the landscape to do it.
Oh, Newfoundland landscape, nothing better for me. I've been almost lots of places in the world, and Newfoundland is like a jewel to me. You know, you look at your feet, and it's like a jewel. You always discover something.
Whenever we get together, we go painting. That seems to be the glue that holds us together. Right. You know, that and good wine, and the Newfoundland landscape. Yeah, that's true too, because. Although he paints the French landscape very well, where I don't. I never did get onto the French landscape at all. I did a couple of paintings that reminded me of a bad Monet, but I never felt close to that landscape at all, you know. Whereas Jean-Claude has this double kind of two loves in his life, you know, where France is very important to him, and the landscape is very important to him, and yet he feels as close to nature here as he does over there. Mm-hmm. So it's quite an amazing thing.
I mean, you can take a photograph of this right now, and you can take it back to the studio and worry it to death for months and months, and come out with something that looks just like the photograph. And for $10, you could have had a blow-up.
Jerry had been painting all the rocks, all the trees, and had been painting, you know, all the space there is around. The sky is wonderful, because for me the sky is very important. And I find that that you know, almost an abstract sky here. To describe the land, the way I see Newfoundland, I think you got to have a sky which is make it even stronger. See, so I play a lot with my sky, and I can find it there by the, you know, by the everything's happening. You know, we got to work fast, you know, because like I say, you know, the rain, the flies, and everything. So if you don't fast, Yeah, so you can, when you look at that painting, you can see that in it, you know, and just like a big movement, you know, it was like a mess in the beginning, and slowly it comes to something more. It's hard to describe, you know. I like it, you know.
Been friends for the last 30 years, and I've watched him grow and develop as an artist. And he certainly has. I mean, you know, with him, he had to give up his job, and when he realized that he was going to go back to France, that's when he made the break. He said, I'll make it back there.
Why do I get a passion to paint every day? It's because when I get up, there's a painting in front of my eye already. So I got to do it. If not, I'm going to be in a bad mood all day. You know, when you look at the painting and it's finished, you go back to your studio, it's wonderful. You did something during the day, you record it, it's a great feeling, is all. It's hard to explain, you know, it's just I need to paint, is all. Because believe me, I got more poppy field to paint.
The word I came up with a while ago to describe his most recent work of St. John's is that it's a breachy work. It's like the capelin in the ocean or the mackerel in the ocean. It jumps out at you, you know. Anybody who comes in this room and looks at the painting in the corner, the first thing they do before they say hello is, "My God, what a wonderful piece! Look at what he's done there. He's captured Victoria Street with all its color, the tarred roofs and the multicolored doors and so on and so forth. He's got the the beautiful Battery. He's got the Narrows. He's got the magnificent Southside Hills.
I love this tree here. It's going to be that and the dogberry tree. This is my two focus. See? That's why I picked the spot. It's not sunny today.
I know that. The sun, eh?
Yeah, the sun is there. Because the sun is always there, okay? I'll put the sun to bring the light on my painting. Even sometimes I put a black sky during the day, but you should see the light and bring in the landscape. So for the people to understand why there's so much light, I got to put the sun in. But the sun just came, you know how the sun came in. There's one, I was looking at it once, and I got blind by it, looking at it. So it got to be every time in my painting now. I think it followed me all my life. Even if it's not there, it's going to be always sunny in my life. I like, because of the color. Color of the building is unique. In the village now, around Newfoundland, they're mostly white, the building. In St. John, the color just all different. And you can, overlook the city. You can see the sea, you can see, you can see everything. You got always a vertical to put in your painting, a big church. Everywhere in Newfoundland almost, you can go up somewhere and look from the top.
The colors, I think, are very, very strong, and how they're so poetic. They're not realistic, and yet they are. Like, it's not looking at a realist painting or an abstract painting. It's just, it's something about it that makes them all so happy and lively and moving. I always feel like they're moving, and especially the way he does the buildings and stuff, and they all, where the roofs are bent, and it always looks like the wind is so strong there. Of course, we do have a lot of strong wind in Newfoundland, and I just really been always drawn to the colors, and I just think they're so. I love showing them to people, and everybody that never ever seen his work before seems to always like that, like his paintings. I've never seen anybody say, "Oh, they don't like that style."
But it's not always what I'm looking for. I'm looking for color sometimes, a shape, and like there was the tree in the center, the big tree, the dogberry tree, which is red on it. And because I'm planning to put a bit of snow on the roof. The first sign of winter, you only got that dogberry tree red, after they're going to fall because they're going to freeze, or the birds are going to eat them. So I better plant them before the bird eats them. So you don't have poppy field here, so I got to find something else. It's true too. It's like poppies almost, no? Because they're very nice, it's hot, I like the heat, but sometimes it's raining, or in Newfoundland it's foggy, you name it, But for me, the best painting is when I am outdoors and I'm disturbed by the element, but what's around me. If I paint a crowd, if I'm disturbed by the crowd, that's going to be part of the job, of the painting. Simpson painting, I did, I don't know, I never count them, but there must be 150 or 200 poppy field. Maybe the same with sunflower field and Newfoundland with large tree and stuff like that.
I mean, the soul of the individual, the soul of the place has to come through it. There's got to be a poetry. And when you look at Jean-Claude's painting, there's a poetry in it. There's a rhythm of the landscape that's reflected in the knife work or the brush work. There's a poetry in the color combinations, in the drama of the place, the drama of the painting. It's a little battle that he fights out every day that he goes out painting, and it's just, I don't want to sound militaristic, but he wins more than he loses.
Because I like this one. It's next to a big cathedral and the center saint, and every time I find a way to paint it that does not look like the one I did the last time. And I'm trying to. Some of the people who come here are old now, and it's going to disappear soon. They used to have a kind of tent over the market to protect from the sun, and they're starting to disappearing. Now they bring a big truck, so it's not the same. And those old people who sell vegetable come from a little tiny garden, probably. So the vegetable and or the products they show are not, if you look at it, they always got little defects because they were not treated, they're just natural, see? And like I know in a few years there won't be any, those people will not, so I will have them painted for life, for all time, see, they'll be here. They are recorded. J'étais hier soir, il y a des tableaux aussi je mangeais à Mont-Saint-Georges.
Now go
You put a moose in it too.
oh, yes, they walk through right the whole end of it. Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, today there was really a treat because often, you know, you don't have the people with who own the land where we are painting. See, but La was there on his potato field this morning, so he came to talk to me. He told me about a few story of this little bay, and because I paint feelings about places, so talking to the people at the same time, than knowing them who made this garden, and me is making the painting of this garden, so it's too something strong for me, you know, to that do something to me, you know, more than anything. And now I know that this garden, I know the person.
You know, there's part of his personality, but it also displays an absolute passion for painting, and that's a part of him as much as his skin, and it's got to come out. I mean, he's a painter. He's not interested in the detail necessarily being absolutely precisely correct. He doesn't care for photography. He has a passion for applying the paint, building it up, scraping it down, making it darker, making it bolder. All these things are a part of him, and he's as close to his soul when he's painting as he is at any other time. You know, it's amazing to watch him. And I just, it's been a privilege.
It's even better because, you know, in a few years probably Lars won't be here, the garden won't be here, and then I got it in my painting. So. I think now I'm going to go to a little village with called La Madeleine, where my grandfather used to live and where I used to spend my vacation. And it's probably where my life of an artist started, even if I was small. Here there is, I don't have the house, I could not get the house where I live, but and there's few cherry trees there and a cap and on a piece of land. So I'm going to see that and try to pick some cherries today. This is, those trees, those big trees are 50 years old, probably more. And I was there when they were planted. I was a little boy. And my grandfather told me how to graft a tree. And now I can eat the cherry 55 years after. So this is a great moment for me. Just behind the tree here is where my grandfather used to live. There's the house here, somebody owned now. And he was an art lover, but he liked to decorate his house with painting, which was unusual for the farmer in those days. Anyway, this is a story of my grandfather. He encouraged me to paint, and he was supplying me with a pencil and paint all the time, you know. Every day was like that, you know. We were going to the town, he was going to the shop and get me more crayon and all. I don't know why, because he was not painting by himself. Maybe it was me, you know. Maybe he saw that I was interested in that, because I was always doing a bit of drawing and all the stuff. I was very interested by color. But I wish he'd be here now, because he never knew I was going to become an artist. Because he died, I was only 14 or 16. Yeah. So that's pretty sad, you know. Some years I'll bring some branch with cherries on his grave instead of flowers, you know.
probably go through 250 art galleries a year. As I do my work and I find myself in various cities, if I have 10 minutes to spare, I'll find the best art gallery in town to go see what energizing art is in that city. I was in Africa, for example, about 6 months ago, and I spent, we were there for about a month, and I spent at least 2 weeks of that month looking at African art and meeting African artists, and actually bought a substantial amount of collection out of Africa while I was there, and which is being shipped. Well, I came to Newfoundland with a good friend of mine to do a little bear, moose, caribou hunting. And, but wherever I go, as I said earlier, wherever I go, art is always on my mind. And I went and I found what was supposed to be the best gallery in Newfoundland, and I think it was. It was a beautiful gallery there in St. John's. And I went in, and it was a big 2-story facility, brand new, very capable art dealer was there, and I met her, explained who I was and the fact that we had galleries here in America. And I said, I'm really intrigued by this one artist, this Jean-Claude Roy, this art you have. I said, it's very different, it's colorful, it's vibrant, it has energy, it's beautifully composed and put together. And I said, in fact, where is this artist living? It is a French. She said, oh yes, it's French. And she says, actually, the young man, she said, the young man lives here in Newfoundland about half the year, and the other half the year in France, where his homeland is. He married a woman from Newfoundland, and that's his connection here. So one thing led to the other. I said, I would really enjoy meeting him.
I got that call from Emma one day. She said, was somebody, an American here, was looking at the painting, is that she said, and he's interested, he wants to meet you, you know.
He was not what I expected, in that, as you know, Jean-Claude, he has this big personality and friendly smile. He came in, and within instantly, I knew we were going to be friends, because, forgetting the art, I just knew we were going to be friends because he has this real optimistic, vibrant spirit. And he has this little funny twinkle in his eye and smile. And but we had, over a glass of beer, we became friends in a very few minutes, and the next thing I know, we're talking about art and Newfoundland and all these things, and I suggested to him that what we were doing with the galleries, and wanted to know if he had interest in exhibiting in America, and he said, oh, I'd be honored, I'd be excited about that. And I said, okay, I'm very excited too.
You know, this is my eye, you determine if it's a good thing and all, you know. I can see, I know when a painting, when I do a painting, I know I got to find something with good composition, something pleasing to the eye. So all the curves, the line, is like that I pick a painting, okay? Just it's not complicated. You know, some people will have you know, days before they find, oh, I can see nothing to paint. But you always can find something if you know how to look, you know. To paint is easy. To learn how to look is not easy, you know. And I always told that, you know, if you look everything, you know, analyze everything, and after you will find things you never saw before and you want to paint. And
yeah, I'm so surprised at how he picks out paintings everywhere, right? You know, and his eyes are constantly, I've been with him lots and lots of times, and you got to come back here, you got to come back there, and I'm just so amazed what can he see there to paint, right? It's just a piece of barren land, nothing on it, you know, and then he'll go back and paint it and come back, and there's all kinds of things that I never saw. I don't know where he gets them to, or he puts them there or what, right? But I guess that's one thing about a painter, you can't put things in there that's not there or take it out, right? But he just does draw on things like the flowers, you know, he does such a fabulous job with all kinds of wallflowers, you know, things that I grew up with and took for granted, old lupins, you know, he makes the lupins look wonderful, and all the wallflowers in Newfoundland, he'll make them look so just fabulous. Like, and like I said, they all look like they're moving. You know, look at them, and you know, you swear to God, it's all moving.
Says, but by working at it, you know, I think you can succeed if you really work at it, you know, and if you're really dedicated to your art. Try to find something that people don't see. Show them, and they will appreciate after a while, you know. You develop that after years of looking and painting, that's all.
Jean-Claude, this is a beautiful book you put together, Two Visions of Newfoundland and Labrador. Ben Hansen, of course, one of our best-known photographers, and yourself, one of our best-known artists. Perhaps we can just go through the book and you can tell me what you and Ben were trying to accomplish by doing a book this way.
Actually, with the project we had is to go all around the island, do the most villages as possible, and any order at all. So we start one day last year during all my holidays. I stayed for 2.5 months. And by example, we went to Tizard Harbor. And in Tizard Harbor, we set up my easel, and Ben goes in a village with his camera. And we don't talk to each other till we are finished.
So at the end of the day, he comes back with this photograph of Tizard Harbor. And this is your painting.
Is my painting. That could be completely different, but this is the area, see?
And you work very fast, don't you?
I work very fast. You know. Ben works faster than me, but I think he can take more pictures than, but I can only do one, you know.
And of course, there were two things. One thing was that I had pretty well packed it in. I figured that was my last book, and a book is a lot of effort. It's basically a year's work, and so it wasn't just a question of doing a few things like we're doing now. So I said no, I don't think so, because it involved traveling a lot, and I didn't fancy that.
Now, where is this?
This is in that book. I used some old pictures. This is Exploit Island. This is where my wife, mother came from. So one time I went in Exploit Island and I did a painting, so I want to use it this time. I can work with anybody if they don't tell me what to do, okay? So, and I think Ben was the same way. That's why in the beginning he was not quite sure what kind of fellow I was. So in the beginning I said, okay, Ben, don't worry about me. I won't tell you anything about how to take pictures, where to take pictures, and but don't do the same for me. You know, I'm going to paint what I want.
So who decided which painting would go next to
Ben?
which painting?
Ben was not me.
Picture.
I say Ben two artists to work together is not easy sometimes. So I say, Ben, you know, I agree with you. You do what you want with it. I will look at it after. So he took all his photographs and all the photographs of my painting, put them together, match them together on a book, the best he could.
So that got you 2 pages of paintings.
Exactly, but I gave another 2 pages of photograph later on.
Well, Jean-Claude, it's been a pleasure talking to you about this book, and good luck with it. It's a great job.
Thank you very much. So when I saw him, I just saw it's a butterfly, which is there now. It's dead actually, which is a beautiful black and yellow, which is generally the color of my son. So today, and for a long time, I suppose, except if we fall apart after 2 or 3 years, will be. Well, no, I got to figure out the first time, if I want the sunshine to go through from the bottom, yeah, I think it should be this way. Yeah, I just put the background in black, and you see what I mean, you know, when you look at some of my painting. Now, after that, you know, I'm going to work the same little area here. I'm going to paint those white spots there, the same colors and butterflies, you know, so everything after is going to be like a bit of yellow is going to be here, like the little house there, same pattern on the sky. Yeah, for me it is quite an honor, especially when 40 years ago I came to that narrow over there with a boat from France. I immigrated in Canada, and from now I'm looking here to that narrow. You know, I never thought 40 years ago that we'll be on top of that hill and looking at it again. You know, with a, and what's incredible too is that place was a fort before that was to protect. To protect Saint John against the French. And now I'm in it, but you know, I did not wait because my Newfoundland is just my other country, you know, very strong in my heart. And but now this building will be to protect the art of the, you know, no more. There'll be a production for the art for all the artists in Newfoundland.
Well, it's a great honor, actually, you know, to be involved in the whole celebrations, be part of it, you know. And I never thought that we'd ever have a place like this.
No?
You know, I've spent most of my life painting here, and being involved in the arts and various aspects of it, actually. And I never thought that we would ever have such a palace, really.
Today we got one of the best studios with every artist in Newfoundland would like to have a great studio like that with a huge and with a view like that, you know.
I think it's really special in that when you look at his work, you are captured. I don't think anyone can walk by one of his paintings, I'd be surprised if they could, and not stop, because the colors he uses are so arresting. And his style of painting, which is not realistic, but you know where you are, you know what it is he's trying to portray. You can recognize places, but it's a heightened realism. You see the communities, you see the houses, you see the sky from his perspective, and it's fascinating.
But it's been a great relationship in that sense. An artistic one, you know, and it's like the real thing. It's not just talking about it, but it's actually doing something.
He's really a real gifted person, and even more importantly, he has a real giving personality, and you can see that optimism and that freedom of thought in his paintings. I mean, it's very, very colorful and energetic, and just a pleasure to look at his paintings.
The man himself is fabulous. I mean, he's a great friend, immensely loyal, and very, very generous in spirit. And you know, one could do worse than to have a friend like Jean-Claude. Much, much worse. People have friendships that last a whole lifetime, and Jean-Claude and I and Jerry, I think, will always be friends.
And he, you know, even when he got people in them, you know, they're not, you know, you don't see their faces, but they're there, and it's always a happy feeling in them, you know. And Jean-Claude has always been such a happy person. I guess that's why he's such a character. I've known him for a long time. I've known him now for 28 years, and he's I always like playing practical jokes on you, and you know, he's a great person to be around. I've never ever seen Jean-Claude upset or in a bad mood or stressed out about anything.
So sitting here on my toughest day, I can get a kind of tranquility from looking at his work, and I can watch the sun as it changes, as the sun shifts. The lights pick up the yellow house there in the corner. Yesterday I was looking and my eye was caught by a shaft of light hitting one of the brown doors, and so on and so forth. It's a living painting, and I bought it, I guess, for all of those reasons, and I could afford it at the time, and to me it's an investment in pure joy. I just love being in the presence of it.
After a while, it just comes naturally. It's like you're riding a bicycle, you know. It's just like that. After you go on it, and you don't even think you get to push a pedal to sing. Painting is the same thing. Become automatic now. I don't even think when I take a paint, I can go here and take any kind of paint and put it there. So you go back here, come back here, and so on, you know. That's why people, when they watch me starting to paint, you know, what is he doing? And I make a mess in the beginning. And can you feel that, you know, that does it look a bit like Newfoundland sometimes, you know? It's a bit warmer. And that reminds me, one day I was in Trépassé, on the beach in Trépassé, and one man was there with his dog on the beach, and he came to me, he said, "Nice and sweet," he said, talking about the weather. So that was, you know, that just reminded me that, you know, there was a kind of feeling, you know, a bit of hazy and no wind, and yeah, so that's why it's great painting. It's going to be a great painting today, I think. Nice and sweet is beautiful.